I just purchased these 3 products. It's the Makeup Revolution Conceal Define Concealer, one of the Milani Rose Powder Blushes, and the Maybelline FaceStudio Strobing Stick. So I just wanted to see what the hype was all about, because these 3 products are very loved by people on the internet. So I'm gonna be trying out the products to see if I love them and if I would recommend them to you.
I didn't know we were in the information society.
First things first, I bought a new concealer. It's the Makeup Revolution Conceal Define. You know, the concealer that's like all over Instagram. I bought it in the shade C3 because that was supposed to be like a light neutral shade. And my old concealer is this one. If you look at them from the outside in the bottle, they look very similar. I think this one just looks like it has a little bit more of a yellow undertone, and this one looks like it has a little bit more of a red undertone. But when you put it on, let me just do that for you real quick. The left one is the Makeup Revolution concealer and the right one is my old concealer. And as you can see, the Makeup Revolution concealer looks very dark. I was super worried how this would look on my face. Now this is a first impression and I tried to do it yesterday, meaning that I did already try all the products. But I kind of fell asleep with my makeup on, so I couldn't really use that footage, but it's not like I've forgotten what my first impression was. But let's just put it on, shall we? I already have my brows on and I have some under eye concealer because this concealer is just not light enough for me to use it under my eyes. But as you can see, when I apply it on my face, it actually appears to be very much the same shade as my face. So I'm just gonna use this for all the spots that I have, which is a lot because I'm dumb enough to pick my skin. Don't do that. Picking your pimples always makes it worse, yet I still always do it. So that's dumb bitch right there. I'm just gonna blend it out with my finger first. And then I'm just gonna blend it a little bit out with my Real Techniques makeup sponge. And as you can see, it's like a perfect match for my skin, which I'm very surprised by, but I mean, I'll take it. I'm gonna try to put it on my nose as well, just to see how it performs there, because I have a lot of blackheads there and I would love to cover them, so I'm just gonna give this a try. But I kind of don't want to cover my freckles here, because spring is here and that means I already have a ton of freckles and I don't mind it, so I'm not gonna cover them. Yeah, my skin is super dry, so it kind of sticks to like the dry flakes. And as if it wasn't enough with dry skin on my nose, it also gets super oily very quickly. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on my cheeks just to try to cover up the blackheads I had there. That looks good. It doesn't like stick in the pores as some concealers do. So the only issue is that it kind of sticks to the dry flaky skin on my nose, but all makeup does that, so can't really blame it for that. So if you've been following me for a while, you would know that I am on the hunt for a good blush because I haven't had any luck with that. This is just way too cakey and this is way too shimmery, like glittery, like it leaves huge chunks of glitter on your face. So I finally bought one of the Milani Rose Powder Blushes. This is in the shade Tea Rose. I'm just gonna dip a little bit into it. I'm gonna try to not apply bronzer today just so that I can really see what the blush looks like. I was a bit worried that this blush would be too dark for me, or that, you know, when you apply it, it would just be like super pigmented, which I don't like, but that's not the case. It might also be because of the brush I'm using, because even though it looks kind of dense, it is kind of fluffy. So that obviously helps with it not applying too pigmented. But I think it blends out very nicely. It's not like patchy or anything, so that's good. Definitely a good first impression. I'm also gonna apply it up here, because that's where I usually apply my bronzer. And I'm gonna apply a little bit on my eyelids again, because I usually apply bronzer there, so I thought it would be funny to try it with blush instead. You know, just so there's like a little bit of color on my eyelids. Did I bring it down too far? Maybe. I'm gonna try to blend it out a little bit with this makeup sponge. I'm just quickly gonna do the other side off camera. So if you have been following me for a while, you would know I use this highlighter in the shade 200, which is way too dark for me, as like a shimmery bronzer slash a middle thing between highlighter and the bronzer. And I finally purchased the one in my shade, which is the shade 100. There are only 2 shades, so... But also this is quite dark. I'm not sure how this darker one performs if you have a deeper skin tone, but I should look into that. And I see that since I purchased the last one, they've changed the name. It's now called the FaceStudio Strobing Stick. And there's quite a lot of product in here, as you can see. And I've had this one for like, what, 2 years, and I still have this bit left. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. Let's try this. I mean, I'm not quite sure if it's a first impression when I've used the other shade, but it's the first time that I have this. So I really like the highlight that it gives, because even though there are quite a few glittery parts in there, they're so small that it just looks very natural, and I don't feel like I have glitter chunks on my face. So I like this because I feel like it just gives like a more natural shine. Not completely natural, but just the way I like it. Now I have glitter all over my hands, but I am gonna set... That was a lot. I put on just a little bit too much. My face is completely wet on this side. It's almost 11 AM right now, and I am going to be wearing this for 8 hours, so I'm going to take it off around like 7 PM. That's like a normal workday length, you know, so I think that's like a realistic amount of time to be wearing makeup. I'm gonna go for a walk and edit this video and eat and such, so I'm just gonna see how it lasts through all that. And the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna take some pictures throughout the day in the natural sunlight so that you can see how it looks there, because I think that's the most fair way to judge it. So in a few seconds I'm gonna show you the pictures I took throughout the day, and then I'm gonna like do a checkup at 7 PM to see what it looks like there. And yeah, I'll see you at 7 PM. So that was a bit cringy. So the first few pictures you see here are from right after I applied the makeup, and just after I took these pictures I went for a walk, which took around 1 hour. So it's not quite exercise, but it was very windy outside, but it was also sunny, so I think my face did get a little bit sweaty. And as you can see, my cheeks naturally got a little bit flushed and red, you know, after being outside in the wind. And some of the concealer did rub off on my nose, like right where my sunglasses had been sitting, but I feel like that happens with all makeup, so yeah. Then around 1 PM I decided to eat. I had tortillas, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, I just want to show you because sometimes I can like remove some of the makeup around the mouth, but it didn't really change my makeup, to be honest, but you never know. I mean, and here you can see me editing. I started around 2:25 PM, and then you see a little bit of an update from 4:16. Not looking dead at all. So I wanted to take some pictures after editing for a while just to like see if there's been any changes yet, and honestly it still looks fine at this point. And yeah, it hasn't really gotten any worse since I went for that walk. So, and then there's some pictures 7.5 hours into wearing the makeup. Again, not really too much interesting to see there. It pretty much looks the same as the last pictures. And here we have a side-by-side, and the darker pictures are from the nighttime and the lighter ones are from noon. And then there's another side-by-side picture from 11 AM and 8 PM. Then we have some close-ups of the makeup just so that you really can see what the difference is. And then we have a picture from before I applied the makeup products, and one from 8 PM. And lastly, we have another picture from before I applied any of the makeup products to after wearing them for 9 hours. It's almost 8 PM now actually, so I've been wearing it for about 9 hours, and obviously you've seen a lot of progress pictures. What? Like check-ins throughout the day. But yeah, this is what my face and like the makeup looks like after 9 hours. In general, my face is just very oily today. As you can see, I'm super shiny all over. I have not touched my face at all. Obviously sometimes I've like rested my face on my hand by accident, but I have not, what do you call it, like blotting paper. I usually just use like toilet paper and like gently blot it in the T-zone, but I have not done that today, and I usually touch my face a lot, but I've tried not to. So obviously it's not as pigmented or like as opaque as it was 9 hours ago, but I'm actually quite surprised about how well it held up, especially the blush, because you can still see it quite a bit, and it's like faded nicely. It's not like it fades super patchy or anything. The highlighter is still there, but it's kind of like outshined by all the like oil and grease on my face, and also somehow I always manage to get my highlighter all over my face throughout the day, which I can see has also happened a little bit today. Like it's down here and up here. I don't know how, but that always happens. The concealer is still stuck to like the dry skin on my nose, but it's not gotten like a lot worse. Obviously it has like collected a little bit here in like, you call that a crease in your nose. The concealer has faded a little bit like all around, but it's also not completely rubbed off. Like there's still quite a bit there. I mean, I still think it looks quite nice. And as I said, my face is just like extra oily today. Don't know why. It's probably because I slept with my makeup on and didn't wash my face last night. So that's on me. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the concealer. I know it's stuck a little bit to the dry skin on my nose, but honestly, everything I put on my nose does that, so I don't know, it's just my nose that's fucked up. But yeah, really like this. It held up nicely, especially it didn't get like stuck in my pores, like here on my cheeks. So yeah, it's great. I highly recommend this concealer, and yeah. Oh, it's cruelty free as well. There we go. And the blush held up very nicely. As you can see, it is still on my cheeks and like up here and my eyelids, as I said. It does look a little bit cakey here. I don't know if it's just because I applied a little bit too much or what that's about. And I have to be this close to my face to actually see that it's looking a little bit cakey, so I don't think that's an issue at all. So highly recommend this as well. I love it. I'm going to try to find the US price because it is a little bit more expensive in Denmark. Not a lot, but obviously it's not as cheap as the Wet n Wild one I have. But yeah, I highly recommend this because it's lasted very well throughout the day. And last but not least, the FaceStudio Strobing Stick. I mean, I had already tried it in a different shade, but I think they've reformulated it. If you just like try to ignore all the oil and grease that's like giving me a highlight all over my face, you can still see it. It didn't rub off my blush or anything or slide down my face throughout the day. It's nice. I love it. So yeah, I recommend all three products, basically. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful if you're considering buying one of these 3 products. And yeah, I hope to see you. I hope to see you in my next video. So bye.
That's a difficult question because I didn't know we were in the information society.